Greetings and salutations, one and all. Yours truly, Robert Phoenix, back on the case for the Astro Weather, where we explore the conditions inside and outside of your inner sky. What's happening, everybody? How are y'all? How are y'all? How are y'all? How y'all doing? It's Halloween. Maybe I should look a little spookier. Have a mask. Do people like Halloween? Just in general, as a day, as a vibe? Are you into it? It's amazing. It's kind of reached holiday-like proportions. You know, we have one of these spirit stores in town, and my God, that place is just overwhelmed with people buying their costumes for their kids and whatever else they get in the spirit store. Fake blood or who knows what. You know, as a child, I enjoyed Halloween, like most children do. Because the candy. We love the candy. And of course, everybody has their favorite little candies that they get when they go to the most disappointing candies. Let me just go through my most disappointing candies. I would say probably at the top of the list, somebody would get the Brax hard candy. The Brax hard candy. You know what I'm talking about? The Brax bric-a-brac. Like they just go to the store, go into the bulk section, and you might get the hard butterscotch, or maybe you would get the what else did they have? The nougat. And then they had the thing that looked like a Neapolitan, which was like a little strawberry, a little coconut. Like you know those candies, they're not bad, but it's not what you want to get at Halloween. Like that's the shit in the candy dishes that your grandmother has when you go to your grandmother's house. She stops down at the store, gets a little bag of Brax bric-a-brac, and puts those candies in the candy dish. Those they're accessible all the time. That's the lazy Halloween thing. And you reach in there and you go, oh, I got a couple Brax bric-a-bracs. All right. All right. Number two, the Dum Dum Lollipop. The Dum Dum Lollipop was always the last to be eaten in the Halloween candy uh, feast. Now, they weren't terrible, but they were always a poor runner up or second choice to a real lollipop called a fucking Tootsie Pop. Spend a little more, get the Tootsie Pop. The Tootsie Pop has the chocolate on the inside. Now, some people might like a good Tootsie Roll. Myself, I think they're kind of lame. Again, it's one of those candies that, somewhere in the mid, right? It's like pretty common. Now, underrated a little bit, but still a little on the disappointing side. The little tiny packet of sweet tarts. I like sweet tarts, but the ones that come wrapped up in cellophane, they were okay. I was like, all right, you're going the sweet tart route. It's okay. Now, every now and then you get somebody that would have a little box of dots. No, no, no little box of dots. I'm sorry. Dots are not my thing. And the little box, I don't know who thinks that the little box of dots is a really good Halloween candy. Then you kind of go up to the next level. The next level were the small Hershey bars. You get the small little Crackle bar. You get the small little Mr. Good bar. You know what I mean? You get those small little Hershey bars. Those were good. Those were, quality bite-sized chocolates. Good. And then somewhere above that, you would get the small Reese's peanut butter cups. Those were good. It was like, oh yeah, I score a couple of those, right? Then if you got a little higher, the ones that were really good right, were the small Mars bars. And you got your little small Milky Way. You got the small Three Musketeers. Like those were good. I was like, oh yeah, we scored here. We definitely scored here. Every now and then, somebody would have some pixie sticks or something. Those are very rare. I'll tell you what else people had, and I like these things. So I was not disappointed unless it was a flavor I didn't really like. Were the hard Jolly Ranchers. The hard Jolly Ranchers, you could never go wrong, especially that apple Jolly Rancher. That was great. I love the apple Jolly Rancher. And every now and then you get the odd piece of gum and stuff like that, which I didn't really have a problem with. But what was your favorite? If you had what was your least favorite Halloween candy? If you got one, and it has to be qualified as a candy, not something that's sort of homemade or good for you. Anything for Halloween should not be good for you. All right, here we go. Let's see who's here. We got DJ MC. What's going on? Dodgers, go Dodgers. Dodgers went. They went. Satan awarded them for honoring the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. KZ Gypsy Muse, what's happening? Good to see you over on Locals. Speaking of Locals, tonight we're getting spooky on Locals. We're going to be looking at the Devil's Advocate. DJ Pebblestone, what's happening? Love the photo. Nice photo, right? Queen Lisa checking in. Mary Lee. Scott Jerzik, what's going on? The evil empire has lost. I'm sure Scott knows this, but George Steinbrenner, who started the evil empire, once owned the Cleveland Indians. And they actually traded teams. It reminds me of two baseball players who traded wives. Fritz Peterson and Mike Kekich, who, if I'm not mistaken, were members of they were both members of the New York Yankees and the Cleveland Indians. Weird relationship there between those two teams. Big Feliz celebrates 15-year transfer from an old coffee farm to my live stream. Gratitude is my word of the hour. All right, let's give it up for Lynn. It's the 15th year anniversary. And by the way, I'm drinking some of that good Panamanian coffee. Thank you, Lynn. I can taste the soil and the sun. The Panamanian soil and the sun. Gone squatching. What's happening? Blessed Samhain. Healing Heart Rosie. Barbara Boots. Checking in. Tree Garden Star Chart. Hi, all. I put this up. Anytime I can take credit for something. Robert was accurate on the weather here. I totally got caught in the Mercury-Uranus opposition. Went through the loose ringers and scrubbed Mars. That's right. That's why you want to watch the Astro Weather. You want to see those loose fronts coming in, right? And I can tell I can help you with those loose fronts. I had one myself yesterday. The ongoing saga of my truck. My God, it's starting to feel like a fucking Werner Herzog movie. Okay, that's what's going on. So the guy who's working on my truck, he's being forced to move because of his political affiliations, according to him. So his place is right down the street from my house. And I kept saying, hey, it looks like you're moving here pretty soon. Are you going to get to my truck and finish it off before you move? Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, we got it covered, Rob. He calls me Rob. Yeah, Rob, no problem. So I'm like, okay, let me go down there because I think they're doing some heavy lifting and moving a lot of their shit. Right. So I go down there and I see my truck, and he's got this Jeep, and my truck is tied to his Jeep with a chain. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing with my truck? Nobody's there. That's my Mercury. I'm like kind of shocked. What are you doing in my truck? This is not something that are you planning on moving my truck to your new place? Well, yeah, talk about that. Nobody's there, so I call him, and finally he shows up. And he says, yeah. He actually called my truck a piece of shit, by the way, which I did not appreciate. I did not appreciate him calling my truck a piece of shit. My truck is not a piece of shit. My truck just needs somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. And so I had to refrain. I had to refrain from, kind of unloading on this guy. I got my guy down at Home Depot, and he's looking for this one part. It's got a male end and a female end. It's got to be the right size. I can give you his number down at Home. He's down at Home Depot. I don't want his number. I don't want to talk to your guy at Home Depot. Why do I want to talk to your guy at Home Depot? Just get the part, fix it, or not. That's all you got to do. And text me when you're done. That's it. Life does not have to be such a big deal. Every time I go down there, by the way, and I want to talk to him, they had a small office. Sometimes he'd be in the office. Most of the time, he'd be in his air-conditioned BMW or Mercedes, or where the fuck it is. And I'd go over there, and he'd roll the window down, like I'm talking to some kind of a mobster or something. Hey, Rob. Yeah, man, we're working on it. I got people looking for that line. And every time I got to go over to him, and he rolls down the window, right, and talks to me. So I pull in yesterday, and he's got this little baggie with the part in it, and he's motioning me to come over to the truck. And I'm like, no. I roll down my window. I said, you come here, right? You come here. You get to talk to me now. I'm the guy in the fucking car, okay? Okay. Just leave it. I'll come get it tomorrow. Thank you for pretending to be a mechanic. I wish we could all just have jobs that we could pretend to be, right? I really wish we could just you could pretend to be an airline pilot. Wouldn't that be fun, being an airline pilot? Yeah, let's pretend to be an airline pilot. All right. Was so loosed out and crying while watching my Dodgers when they were behind 5-0. Then they pulled the bad energy right away. Honestly, I have learned to detach from pro sports, and particularly pro baseball. And I'll tell you why. Because Major League Baseball ripped the heart out of my team, the Oakland A's, who are by far the coolest team to ever have played the sport of Major League Baseball. There may have been better teams, but at times the Oakland A's were incredible. But they're, in terms of just outright utter coolness, no team has ever approached the Oakland fucking A's. The swinging A's back in the 1970s, where their manager paid them to grow facial hair. And they all had nicknames. And they won 3 World Series titles in a row. And the owner used to come out in the field on a green Cadillac and roll around the field. And they're gone now. So I have checked out of pro baseball. However, my Warriors, now that team is interesting. Very interesting. All right, here we are. It is Halloween. Do any of you have kids? Take your kids out for Halloween? I always enjoyed that with my son. I enjoyed. My son was very creative when it came to his costumes. He's very creative. So one year, he really got into Weekend at Bernie's. He was young. He was like, I don't know, maybe 8, 9. I mean, he might have been, it was his first year of baseball. And that year, the A's had this guy named Coco Crisp, one of the great names of all time. Coco Crisp. His real name is Cavalli, And then they just called him Coco for short, Coco Crisp. He's a good player. And baseball players have their walk-up song. So Coco's walk-up song was the Bernie Lean, which is a hip hop song, and it got really popular. And the Bernie Lean was an older hip hop song, and it was done by these three guys, ATM, I think that's what their name was, and it got super popular, really, really popular. And people would do the Bernie Lean in the stands. And then one night we were there at the game, and they brought Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's to the game. And he was right next to us in the stands, like right next to us. And he was there with people from the A's. And then they brought him out to throw the first pitch. He throws the first pitch, and Coco Crisp and Josh Reddick carry him like Bernie into the fucking dugout. Right? It was so good, so good. So my kid was inspired. He became Bernie for Halloween. It was one of the best costumes ever. And people knew who he was. But it's fun. It's fun going out with kids on Halloween. All right, here we go. There's that sun at 8 degrees Scorpio. Do you know whose birthday it is today? Jimmy Savile. Some monsters are born on Halloween. Yep. Jimmy Savile. All right. We're still in the Sun-Pluto square. That means you don't want to kill anybody. Please refrain from killing somebody today. That would not be a good thing to partake in, unless, of course, it's in the act of self-defense. In which case, I heartily endorse doing whatever it takes to make sure that you protect you and your loved ones, especially with that Mars at 28 degrees Scorpio Cancer coming right in here. Oh boy. Tick tock, it's on the clock. Mars, Pluto, opposition incoming. God, this Mars, Pluto opposition feels imminent, doesn't it? It's like a kind of a holy shit moment. Like a holy shit moment. By the way, that Pluto is squaring Kamala Harris's sun. Let's not lose sight of that. Kamala Harris with that 27-degree Libra sun, 27-degree Aries moon, Pluto coming right in and splitting it right in two. And that Mars is that. By the way, where is Tim Waltz? Anybody seen Tim Waltz lately? Tim Waltz is not around. Boy, they hermetically sealed his ass, didn't they? He became such a liability. Anyway, this Mars-Pluto opposition, don't like it. Don't like it. Remember, on election night, that Mars is at 0 Leo. And it's really an interesting juxtaposition. Because when Trump was elected in 2016, Mars was at 0 Aquarius. A really interesting juxtaposition. And you could see where all of the chaos reigned after the election in 2016. One could make a claim that with Mars and Leo, that there would be a more defined order versus the anarchic chaos that would ensue over the next 4 years. I think that's an important piece of information to file away. But the road between now and Tuesday and whatever kind of certification they have, it is not an easy road. Anything could happen. If the so-called, and this is how I see this, okay? There are all these layers and gradations of the political and electoral process. A lot of layers and gradations. We can, it's kind of like a multi-layer sponge cake, and you can just kind of check in at every level, right? And but I think ultimately, and I talked about this yesterday over on Giuseppe's show, is that with Harris You have the XRP, XLM, Ripple mafia, who are all ex-world bankers. And I remember people telling me early in the day, "Oh, you got to get into XRP. You got to get into XRP." And I looked into it, like, well, these are all fucking globalists, and they're creating a stable coin. Do I really want to get like what's the advantage of doing something like that? Because if there's a currency swap or currency exchange and you're holding the XRP, do you think they're going to make you rich overnight if they're controlling the currency? I don't think so. I just don't think so. And then the other side, you have Trump and the PayPal mafia, who probably have their own designs on their own. So this is really a battleground, not just for the things like freedom and liberty and free speech versus everything antithetical to that. It's really about who controls the coin of the realm. That's really what it comes down to. And Trump, for all intents and purposes, has the momentum, like without a doubt. He's got massive momentum, right? In spite of the fact that they want to brand him a Hitler, and this has been going on for a long time now. It's just getting to this point where they're alienating people. And after the garbage truck cosplay yesterday, which is so fucking funny, like, if you can't find the humor in that, if you can't look at that guy and say, this motherfucker's kind of likable, right? I'm not sure what it's going to take. I'm going to talk about that over on 15 minutes. But one of the things that I've been using an analogy for is that the whole Trump election, people said, well, the Harris is just put up there so people don't like her, and then they'll vote for Trump, and then Trump will lead people into the digital gulag, and they'll be slaves in the digital gulag, and the patriots will hand over all their rights because it's Trump. I'd like to think that people can think for themselves just a bit more than that. Just a bit more. I don't think they really want Trump. Oh, they just make it look like they don't want Trump. And it's not true. There are people that don't want Trump to be president. And if you use the JFK analogy on November 22nd, 1963, he's going down Dealey Plaza. If those guns, and again, I am a believer that JFK died. You can believe whatever the fuck you want. I'm a believer that JFK died. I had a client whose husband was one of the brain surgeons where they brought JFK to that Parkland hospital. So I had a bit of an inside scoop on that. But they were not going to let him get out of Dealey Plaza that day. Right? For whatever reason, if those shots didn't work, somewhere down the line, they were going to blow up the car. He was not getting out alive that day. And we're kind of in JFK territory with Trump. And it may not be Trump, but it could be the system. They've been talking about this takedown of the power grid and chaos and all these things. And I got to tell you, when I see this Mars-Pluto opposition, I really pray that we don't have it. I really don't pray that. I pray that we don't have this kind of pure, unmitigated chaos, especially on a night like Halloween, which has all the markings of like a purge movie. We're getting real close here to this opposition. And I think we all just need to, whatever your political beliefs are, you don't have to like drink at the fountain of Trump or Harris. I think you could just, hold the space that the forces of unmitigated chaos are not unleashed. Something was going to burn it all down. Just burn it all down. Start over. Good luck. Good luck. If it happens, it happens. But it's a lot harder to reboot the system after it's come crashing down than to make adjustments. So on a personal level, when you look at this Mars-Pluto square, again, there's this, like I still have to go down there and deal with that guy with the truck today. Rob, it's going to cost you $1,000. I'm like, you know what? I got $300 in my hand right now. It's in cash, and I suggest you take it because you don't have a lot of options, and we're done here, and you were supposed to fix it. So either you take this, or I'm not going to pay you a damn thing. And I got extra keys to that truck at home, and I'll just call a tow truck, and you can try and sue me for it. So just take the money. Now I can't piss him off too much because he carries a gun. He's got a 9mm. So this is the Mars-Pluto opposite. Just watch your step. Watch your step. Everything else is very similar to yesterday. The moon has moved into 27 Libra. So it's right at the edge of Libra. And it's almost balsamic, but it is balsamic. It is balsamic. By tomorrow, it'll be, by tonight. By tonight, it'll be right there, just at the beginning. This is about as balsamic as it can get. So by tomorrow, we're coming up on new moon territory. Actually, it could be a little more balsamic. We could throw it in balsamic moon in Scorpio. That just sounds really, that sounds bad, and it just smells bad, doesn't it? Because the balsamic moon it's been around. It's been around for an entire cycle, and it hasn't been refreshed yet. And in Scorpio is dead, right? So it's like the balsamic moon in Scorpio is like the putrefaction of flesh. That's what it really feels like. Have you ever smelled a dead body before? One that had been decaying for a very long time? It is not a pleasant smell, let me tell you. One time I was in Seattle, and I had a court date. In Seattle, court's weird. Like, you go to the judge's desk, and you sit down, and you have a little meeting with the judge. I kind of liked it. It was actually, hey, want some coffee? Sure. How about a biscotti? No, I'm good. I'm trying to cut back. So I had to park maybe a couple blocks away from the courthouse. And there was you'd rent these rooms for like a week or a month or something. It was like one of those apartment buildings, short-term room rentals, shit like that, right? So it was down towards where the stadiums are, where the old Kingdom used to be. And I'm walking past this building, and I smell this smell that I've never smelled before. And the only thing I could describe it would be like the smell of kind of wet leather and wet tobacco with overripe meat. Nothing like I'd ever smelled before, but something very pungent. I'm like, what is that smell? And as I walk up the street closer to the source of the smell, I see a police van. And it is the coroner's van. And there are these two, I'd assume they're dudes. They're in these hazmat suits. And they've got the mask on, and they've got a gurney. That's what I was smelling. Somebody had been in one of those rooms for who knows how long. And long enough that I could smell this thing about a half a block downwind. And when you smell that smell, you never forget that smell. Never forget it. That is the Scorpio balsamic moon. It's rotting. It's corpulent. It's decaying in the most putrefaction filled sort of way, right? And so what does that mean? It's like, okay, what do I need to get rid of? What do I need to cleanse? Let's cleanse. Let's cleanse this moment. So I've been talking a lot about portals and water and things like that. Tonight, I'm telling you, would be a great night to take a bath. take a bath, get some candles. You want to sage your little space there, right? You want to say a little prayer, clear the space, get in that bath, get it hot, get some, magnesium bath salts, whatever, right? Get them in there. And then it would be really, I think, helpful to visualize whatever it is that you're carrying around that you no longer need, the putrefaction of the corpse of your former self or somebody else who's attached to you, and you just need to get rid of that attachment. Tonight's the night. Tonight is the night. We've been talking about water and portals, and we've got this balsamic moon in Scorpio, and just visualize everything that you've been hanging on to for so long to just leave. Now, you may have a supernatural experience. Some of these things don't want to leave. Oh, please, don't evict us. We like it here. We like the fact that you spend so much time thinking about us and expending so much time and energy. We like it. You keep us alive. That's the benign process. Then the malevolent process is, oh my God, I'm going to lose my best friend. I'm going to lose my pain. I've got to keep my pain with me. They've been with me for such a long time. They never leave me. My pain never leaves me. The world may change, but I can always depend on my pain. Then he gets malevolent. Then the self-talk. What are you doing? This is just fucking stupid. What the fuck are you doing listening to that Robert? What the fuck does he think he's talking about? Letting go of my pain. Fuck this. I'm getting out of this fucking tub. Watch it. You got to get past that point too. Ah, look at the moon. The moon is coming in right here. It's in the yod. It's in the eye of the yod. You got something you want to let go tonight's the night. Relax, just visualize whatever it is. It's just coming out of your pores. It's coming out of your pores. You got that salt in the water, right? It's neutralizing everything that's coming out, right? You're in there. You just close your eyes. Whatever it is, you just visualize it leaving your body, leaving your body, leaving your body. And when it's all done, you drain your bathtub, and then what do? Then you take a shower. You take a shower, you scrub your skin, and you get all nice and scrubby clean, and you get some nice lotion or oil that you like, and you sort of anoint yourself, right? And there's a new you. It's Scorpio season. The new moon in Scorpio, right? Rebirth. That's your prescription. After you've given away all the candy, and if you're on Locals, you've seen the breakdown of the Devil's Advocate. Take that tub. Sanctify yourself. All right. Let's get into our start of the day. Today's start of the day is a little bit different. And for reasons I will share with you. By the way, I've been noticing that there are less comments on the videos. Now, I am not the dictatorial type and try to tell people what to do. And sometimes I go into comments and I interact. And other times I can be MIA because whatever, I'm busy, or sometimes I just like, okay, I have to shut it down. I need to just, not have any thoughts for a while in a certain direction. But I will say this. The algorithm of the video is depends on some things here. Like hitting like is very important for the algorithm of the video. Comments are really important. Every now and then somebody comes and says, hey, I just dropped by to help the algorithm. You want to do that? That's great. Right? That's great. But if you have a comment, I heartily welcome comments. If you have a question, you can put those in the comments. So what I'm basically doing is I'm asking you to leave more comments so we can boost the algorithm. I know it's a little self-involved, but I do have a channel, and I would like for the channel to be seen by as many people as possible. And by hitting the like and by putting comments in the comment section, it will uplift this video into algorithmic realms of higher vibration and visibility. All right, let's talk about our True Hemp Science star of the day. Before I do that, I am going to actually take some True Hemp Science. I think today I'm going with the Synapta, the G22. This is one of my favorites. I love this. I love how it tastes, and I love how it makes my brain work. I didn't get enough. I might be out. Oh, dear. What am I going to do? All right. Look at that. It's so good. I reached the bottom of Synapta. No fear. I have Solara, the number 19, focus and clarity. So now I'm going to have a little, look at that golden amber right there. So True Hemp Science, your one-stop shop for all things CBD, organically sourced. All you got to do, $100 or more, 15 MINS, and you will get the goodie bag. And the goodie bag has all kinds of interesting little things that you can sample and taste. It's like the Brock's bric-a-brac of CBD. And $150 more, get you free shipping. And there's always a 30-day money-back guarantee. TrueHempScience.com. Your one-stop shop for all your CBD needs. You can also make an appointment with Chris and or his assistant, and they will be happy to walk you through your CBD purchase. All right. So a lot of times when we do the star of the day, we are looking back at a life, or we're kind of examining somebody's life who has a little bit of miles on them, you know what I'm saying, right? Today is a little bit different. Today we're looking at somebody who has lived quite a bit, actually, for her young age, but is still not lived a lot. And what we're talking about, or who we're talking about today, is Willow Smith, who's our star of the day. Now, you are probably aware of the fact that Willow Smith is the daughter of Will Smith and Jaden Smith, or I'm sorry, Jada Pinkett. That'd be a little weird. So what's interesting is that both Will Smith and Willow Smith are Gemini rising. They share that together. And like they're into like a lot of weird shit. The Smiths are into weird shit, right? Like, okay, they're going to name the girl Willow, and that's the name that matches Will. And they're going to name the boy Jaden, and that's the name that matches Jada. So they're into this weird kind of progeny alchemy. Let's call it that way. And today we're focusing on Willow Smith, and it's really fascinating because she also has Jupiter in Gemini on her ascendant. And when I was looking at Willow Smith last night, one of the things that really struck me is the variety of her looks. You know, this is her as kind of a dorky kid, and she goes through this punk rock phase, right? She's actually very striking. She's become a really, beautiful woman. And here she is in her Amber Rose phase, right? She just fronts all of these different, looking a little like a dude there, but that's another discussion. But she has all these different looks, right? She's very cute, very adorable there. And she had the little hip hop hit, and she goes through this kind of black funk phase. It's like this black punk phase. And just the variety. This is all very Gemini rising. And there's Jada Pinkett Smith, and there's Willow. She towers over because Will Smith's kind of a tall guy. She's almost as tall as he is. And that's Jupiter on the ascendant. Sagittarius rising people tend to be pretty tall. So Jupiter is the ruler of Sag. But you can just see that she has all these looks, right? There's like all these different sides of who she is. I think she's in college now, if I'm not mistaken. But she's really striking, right? Really, really striking in terms of her looks in general. So Jupiter on the ascendant, like you never know who you're going to get with Willow Smith. You just never know. You never know what style you're going to get. You never know what she's the type of Gemini where you open the door. Who am I talking with today? That's how mutable she is. She's a shapeshifter. Willow Smith is a shapeshifter. You can see all the different shapes she shifted into. She also has Uranus conjunct her midheaven in Aquarius. So she's going to be shocking. She's always going to present herself to the world as something unique or shocking or new or different, right? Like that's always going to be her calling card. And one of the things that I talk about both in the course and when I meet with people and get into their charts, and it's the effect of the outer planets. And the outer planets they're like the gods of the chart. And so they act upon us. They're these kind of archetypal transpersonal forces that really work through us. And she has Neptune in the 9th house here and Uranus in the 9th house. And she has Juno there. So she's always cooking up something new. Like this is a person who has incredibly low boredom threshold. Incredibly low boredom. She needs to be continually recreating herself. She reminds me a little bit of David Bowie in some ways. And David Bowie was an Aquarius rising. And, Bowie had that shape-shifting quality as well. And so this is Uranus, and it's always going to guide. Like Willow Smith is always going to be kind of ahead of trends as well. But I also think that there's a lot of pressure on her. And it comes with these squares, like the Mercury-Uranus square, the Sun-Uranus or Mercury-Neptune square. The thing about the Smiths is that, they're kind of caught up in a weird intersection between kind of Hollywood life and Diddy world. Like there's just this weird intersection. And Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith are very odd people. And they've definitely drank at the fountain, if you know what I mean, right? And so these are kids who are born into that family, and generationally, they get initiated into the same thing. I don't think that she is going to play along nicely. I mean, at some point, you're going to get a tell-all from this girl. And the things that she's going to say it's going to blow people's minds. Now she has Saturn in the 12th house. That's the father, right? That's the father. What's interesting, I think if I'm not mistaken, you'll find a number of pictures with her where she's wearing like a choker, where she's wearing something that will cover her neck. I'll go back here. I'll show you. Like, so here she is with like the dog collar look. This is a similar theme variation. She'll wear things up around her neck, turtlenecks. Here's another one, sort of high collar here. This would be congruent with a strong aspect to Algol. She's a very artistic person. Cute little girl, right? Here we go. Here's another turtleneck here. Covering up her neck here. Here again. You get what I'm talking about, right? So you'll see that with her. Whoops. Let's go back here. You'll see that with her. And Saturn's the father. That's Will Smith. And she gets along better with her father. I can tell you that because he's got a cluster of Libra and Virgo planets. Jade is a problem. So she's got Moon in Capricorn. We've got some nice little aspects here. Mercury sextile Moon, blah, 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 right? But the Moon in Capricorn, the Moon is the mother. And Jada Pinkett Smith does not strike me as a very nurturing person. Like, that's a hard-ass mother. That's a really hard-ass mother. And somebody who has lots of demands personally and professionally. She's got a square with Mars. So if there's any tension in this chart, it's more likely with Jada than Will. With that Mars Moon square right there, right? Her true node is in Cancer. This girl just wants to be nurtured and loved. You know, at a certain point, I think she'll probably do a Lisa Bonet. You know, Lisa Bonet, who's also a Scorpio, by the way, just stepped away from Hollywood. She said, "Oh, I'm going to be an acupuncturist or whatever. Oh, I'm gonna move to Hawaii. I'm going to marry Jason Momoa." Because that's really what her chart is about, stepping away. And that would be a really Uranian thing, wouldn't it? Where did Willow Smith go? Well, she decided she wanted to be a mom. She's going to be a mom now. Because that's really what her chart is. It's what, you know, she's true node, second house, Cancer. She's looking to nurture and be nurtured. She's got a sun trine to it. Sun in the sixth house, she's, you know, productive. She had a hit single when she was what? I don't know, 12 years old or something. That Whip It thing with her hair. That was a fucking hit single. This girl's had hit singles. She's been a pretty productive artist. Being in relationship with her would be quite intense. Quite intense. Where's that moon? Yeah, Capricorn. Pluto in Sag, Venus in Sag. This is boy, oh boy, oh boy. You cannot front with Willow Smith in relationship. Very, very. She's got a Venus Chiron conjunction in Sagittarius. So something significant happened to her between the age of 14 and 16. Maybe that's when she lost her virginity officially. Yeah, this Mercury down here, though, that's prime. That's just prime for like a tell-all, isn't it? It's prime for a tell-all. And it's in conjunct with Jupiter. And when the stories come, they're going to come. And they're going to shock people. She has a pretty interesting grand trine, Saturn, Mars, coming in there and trining Neptune. So she's artistic, she's creative. Mars in the fifth house. She's an artist. This girl's an artist. You can tell. She looks artistic. She's had some hit records. I don't think she'll stop being an artist. But Willow, at a certain point, walk away, start your own family, and be the nurturing mother that the moon in Capricorn promised to be, but maybe has not always delivered. All right, there you go. Here's your True Hemp Science star of the day, the lovely Willow Smith. Well, that does it, boys and girls. We'll be over on 15 Minutes of Flame, and we got to talk about Trump and the garbage truck. It might have been one of the greatest comedic presidential moments of all time. It is epic. Absolutely epic. And it happened in Wisconsin. In fact, I think it was in Green Bay, wasn't it? Home of the Packers, Titletown, Cheeseheads, Vince Lombardi, the Gemini, like Donald Trump. It's all right. Enjoy yourselves today. It's Halloween. Remember the bathtub portal ritual. The bathtub portal ritual. Visualize yourself just letting go of the corpulent thought forms and feelings that no longer serve you. They don't serve you. The only thing that they serve is a reminder of something that's gone wrong in the past that you, for whatever reason, are holding on to remind yourself that you're not worthy of a much more abundant and novel, adventurous, loving, and exciting future. Let's try it out. What do you have to lose? All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Use your head in order to discern what's real, your heart to say what's possible. Treat each other well. God bless, and bye for now.